Well, hi everybody. Welcome to Sean's Country Club Show. Today we have a few special guests to tell us about a few special countries. This is my Grandma Babs. Grandma, how long did it take to get to Italy?
It took about 6 hours from New York City.
Oh, and how did you get to Italy?
Well, we took the plane from Albany to New York, and then we took a plane from New York City to Rome.
Okay, and what do you enjoy most about Italy?
Oh, I just think it's so exciting to go to another country and see the people there, and I felt very comfortable there. I felt very at home there, and I enjoyed seeing all the things in Rome that I had read about when I was in high school, taking the
Okay.
And of course I like the food in Italy.
Oh yeah, okay. Now, number 4, would you want to live in Italy?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. I love America. I would want to live in America
Why?
because I love America.
So,
I wouldn't want to live in Italy because, first of all, they all speak Italian and I can't speak it.
okay.
And it's very confusing when you don't know what people are talking about. I was telling your father earlier the reason why I don't speak Italian, even though my mother could, was because my father couldn't speak it because being in business, my grandmother didn't want him to know how to speak Italian.
Okay, number 5. What is different in Italy than America?
All the people are very different. There's a lot of confusion, and then there's a lot of relaxation all at the same time. There's just different, like when they park the cars, there might be 3 cars parked in, and they don't think anything of it, you know. The traffic is very different, it's kind of crazy. And the arrows that point in the direction to go straight really point to go to the right. A lot of things are different.
Okay. Is it as busy in Italy as it is in America?
Oh, I think it's a little bit more hectic. I think I would call it more hectic. Would you, Gail?
Okay, now I think you brought some things here for us to see.
I do. I thought that you would want to see it. First of all, I have a map of Italy, which you can look at later. But you know that Italy is shaped like a boot.
It is.
See how it's a boot? It's called a peninsula, and it's a boot. And then off of the tip of the boot, the toe of the boot, is a country called Sicily, which is also part of Italy. So I thought you might want to look at that.
Okay, now.
And we went to different cities when we were there. Remember I told you we landed in Rome, and that's where the Vatican is, and we went to see that. And then we went to Florence, and I don't have a brochure of Florence, but we went to Venice too. And you know what Venice has that the other cities don't have? They have canals. Oh, you see the flag? Where? Oh, okay. Here's that. But Venice has canals. They don't really have roads that you can drive a car on. There are no cars in Venice. They're just boats.
Okay.
And we went to quite a few other places, but perhaps we don't have time to discuss them right now.
Okay, so, and here's my other guest, my Aunt Gail. Aunt Gail, you worked in Italy, right?
Right,
So,
I did. I worked at the Naval
Like,
Hospital. in
how is
Naples.
it different working in Italy than America?
Well, it's different because it's harder to get to work because the traffic's really bad.
Okay. Is language barrier in Italy?
There is a language barrier because I don't speak Italian and a lot of Italians don't speak English.
How did you come over language barrier?
I overcame the language barrier by using my hands,
And
pointing a lot,
Mhm.
and making shapes with my hands. And
Okay. How How do people get around in Italy?
They use cars, but not everybody owns a car. They put a lot of people in a little car, and they use little mopeds called Vespas. And you can even put like 2 or 3 or 4 people on a Vespa.
Okay. And did you enjoy working in Italy, Japan, or America?
Well, I enjoyed working in all 3 places, but I'm glad to live in America.
Oh, and I understand you worked in Japan too.
Right.
And here's a question. How do they get around in Japan?
In Japan, they have cars also,
Mhm.
and they do a lot of walking.
Okay, and here's my other guest, my Uncle Jimmy.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Uncle. For your turn. Okay, now Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, Sean.
I see you moved to Japan for 2 years.
Yes.
So, what's the climate like in Japan?
Well, where we lived in Japan, Sean, was called Okinawa. And Okinawa is an island in the Pacific Ocean. And it was at the same latitude as Orlando, Florida. So the weather was a lot like Orlando, Florida. I mean, it was hot and humid 3/4 of the year. So it was often really hot and really humid.
What is the major imports and exports?
Well, Sean, we lived in Japan. They didn't import a lot. That's kind of a problem with the rest of the world. Maybe you've noticed. But they did import only things they needed. And things they did import, like food, were very expensive. Why, Sean, one day I remember going into a Japanese grocery store and I saw a Macintosh apple. You know the kind of apple you'd eat in America.
Yeah.
And it was $5. That's a lot of money, Sean.
And you went to Japan when I was born. Were you a family or something?
No, Sean. I went because my country sent me. I was in the Navy.
Oh. And 3, what are the houses like in Japan?
They're very, very small. And many of them are built of concrete because sometimes they have earthquakes or typhoons. So they have to be made very safe. So,
Okay, and what kinds of foods are in Japan? Like, I know there's sushi, but...
Well, the diet is pretty much seafood is the main source of protein. Many other people eat things like soba noodles. Soba noodles are like Japanese spaghetti, kind of.
Yes.
Yakisoba is a pretty popular meal too. It's just kind of like soba noodles stir-fried with chicken. And then, of course, everybody eats their rice every day.
Okay,
And they don't usually eat dessert.
and did you ever try the sushi there?
Yes, I did, Sean.
Okay.
It was okay, but I'm not a big sushi fan. I like things to be cooked, and sushi's raw. I didn't like that.
How did you like living in Japan?
Well, I liked it just fine. But I was glad to move back to America.
And would you like to move there, to just pack up, stay there forever?
No, I like to live in Pennsylvania. That's where I like to live now.
Okay. And that was my 3 guests for our 2 countries and 2 continents. Thank you for watching.